Central Bank of Libya. From 1551 to 1911, Libya was ruled by the Ottoman Empire, by Italy from 1911 to 1943, and from 1943 to 1951 was under the military suzerainty of Britain and France. The Central Bank of Libya was founded in 1956 and was run as a typical central bank until the bloodless coup d'etat of the 1st of September 1969. Oil of an exceptionally high quality was discovered in 1959. However, King Idris al-Mahdi, as-Sanusi, failed to capitalize on this bonanza or use it for the benefit of his people, and the bulk of the oil profits were siphoned into the coffers of the oil companies. On assuming power in 1969, Muammar Mohammed al-Gaddafi took control of most of the economic activities in the country, including the central bank, which for all practical purposes was run as a state bank. It operated as a bank of the local bankers, and foreign bankers were not permitted to operate. Financing of government infrastructure did not attract riba, interest, and Libya had no national debt and no foreign debt. Its foreign exchange reserves exceeded $54 billion, which may be compared to reserves of developed countries such as the United Kingdom and Canada, which in 2010 were $50 billion and $40 billion respectively. GDP growth during the period 2000 to 2010 was 4.32% per annum, and the official figure for inflation was minus 0.27%. Colonel Gaddafi was described by the mainstream media as being a, quote, terrible dictator and a blood-sucking monster, unquote. But the reality was that with the exception of the city of Benghazi and its environs, he had the support of 90% of the population. The following benefits provided by Gaddafi explain why he was so popular. Free education. Students were paid the average salary for which subject they were studying. Students studying overseas were provided with accommodation, an automobile, and 2,500 per annum of whatever their currency was. And free electricity. Free health care. Free housing. There were no mortgages. Newlywed couples received a gift of 60,000 dinar, $50,000, from government. Automobiles were sold at factory cost free of interest. Private loans were provided free of interest. Bread cost 15 US cents per loaf. Gasoline cost 12 US cents per liter. Portion of profits from sale of oil was paid directly into bank accounts of citizens. Farmers received free land, seeds, and animals. Full employment, with those temporarily unemployed paid a full salary as if employed. Gaddafi's Jamahiriya, quote, state of the masses, ensured that the wealth of this country of 5.79 million inhabitants was fairly distributed to all of its people. Beggars and homeless vagrants did not exist, while life expectancy at 75 years was the highest in Africa and 10% above the world average. The literacy rate was 82%. Regarding human rights, Libya stood at 61 in the International Incarceration Index. The lower the rating, the lower the standing. The number 1 spot is currently occupied by the United States. Another major achievement, which Gaddafi initiated, was the conversion of the Nubian sandstone fossil aquifer system into the Great Man-Made River, which supplies 6,500,000 milliliters of fresh water daily to the cities of Tripoli, Sirte, and Benghazi. The extracted water is 10 times cheaper than desalinated water. The total cost of the project, estimated at $25 billion, was financed without a single foreign loan. Although the central banks of Belarus, Burma, Cuba, Iran, North Korea, North Sudan, and Syria did not fall under the direct control of the Rothschild banking syndicate, Libya had the only central bank run on genuine state banking lines, which exhibited the classic symptoms of full employment, zero inflation, and a modern-day workers' paradise. The question arises as to why NATO intervened on the pretext of fabricated human rights abuses, the so-called responsibility to protect. Since 1971, when the United States abandoned the gold exchange standard for the petrodollar with the connivance of Saudi Arabia, any attempt to displace the United States dollar as the premier reserve currency has been blocked and opposed with violence. In November 2000, Saddam